How you doing? I'm Kevin Brittingham. It's the Q and Ask podcast. I'm here with Adam and Jay. So we're going to talk about silencer reviews. So Al Paulson, Pew Science, maybe pimp my new book coming out. We're going to talk about why Phil Dater sucks for silencers and anyone who loves guns in the NFA. So we're going to talk about Surefire, Knight's Armament, Ops Inc., the things they've contributed, things they fucked up, along with Advanced Armament. Daewon Song being the greatest skater in the history of wooden boards with wheels.
I have so much Oreo in my teeth right now.
Oreo? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that was a bad call.
From experience.
You put them out.
Well, motherfucker, I did not put them out. All right? That fine woman that lives here that wants to feed you idiots put them out. Speaking of that, she is going to be not so happy with me allowing you to pour Campari that I've never had before into the Polish shot glass.
You put it there.
It's the official, yeah.
The official Poland.com.
I've never seen you drink before.
Yeah, it's not very frequent.
You're turning the sweet color of a strawberry. You're turning the color of it. It's like the little girl in Charlie and Chocolate
blue.
Factory.
Yep.
Well, sort of. I mean, because she had like grape or whatever.
Blueberries.
You're turning the color of Campari.
Campari.
All right, so I'm going to try this first time.
Good luck.
Oh, he's going back.
I finished it off. It's like sweet at first and then bitter. It's not bad though.
I mean, we have a full fucking bar over there. It's like the last thing I would touch. You're going to get diabetes from that stuff.
Wikipedia.
Diabetes and, well, you'll never cough, though.
That's why I don't have COVID.
Wikipedia says that it is bitters characterized by its dark red color.
It's certainly bitter. It is certainly bitter.
Super descriptive.
I think you should give it a shot later on, but
yeah, bitter.
Maybe just a taste.
Maybe like burnt pine straw. Well, after tones.
It's weird, but I don't know. It grew on me.
So what's up, guys?
Not too much. What do we got? What's going on?
I don't know. Struggling.
You've been struggling the last couple of days, huh?
What do you mean I've been struggling the last couple of days?
You
What
posted,
you know?
You posted 2 pictures that were posted within a week of each other.
Yeah,
on Instagram.
so I'm old.
Yeah, we got to hire a social media.
Speaking of taking slams,
I haven't slammed lately.
How's your dating life?
I haven't slammed. That's a bit of a slam. No, I don't. Haven't taken too many slams lately.
Moving on.
Yeah, I have some not off topic, but I've seen people email about it, and I've also seen people kind of
about your dating life.
No, we've
moved on.
Yeah, we've moved on.
Okay.
I don't know if you have have an opinion on this, but
I don't know what you're gonna say.
What is your favorite part from a skate film? Like, do you have a favorite part? I do. Once I saw it, I was like, this is a good question.
Rodney Mullen just spinning in fast circles.
Spinning and spinning and spinning.
Never stopping.
All right. What's yours?
Mine is Brandon Biebel's part in Chomp on This. He's like 16. He's skating to Living It Up by Ja Rule. It's
Living
awesome.
It Up.
It like starts off with him on a jet ski, like spraying Mike Carroll with the jet ski. He's young and just wilding out.
Wilding out.
It's cool.
My favorite part, I don't know, but I did just see Richie Jackson. I think he skates for Death Skateboards or something.
Yes.
I just saw a part of his that blew my mind.
Sliding all around and doing crazy stuff.
So crazy.
Who was it?
And he looks like a French pirate.
Yeah.
Richie Jackson. He's insane.
Yeah, him and William Spencer hang out a lot, and they do the craziest stuff.
Well, and even what's his name, Andy Anderson for Powell.
Yep.
Yeah, he does some sick stuff. Man, I don't know. I just like it all. Like, I even love still watching Andy McDonald skate. Like my man Tony Hawk, 52, just did a 720 at 52 years old. Yeah. Mason Silva is sick. I mean, there's like 10 skaters that I just can't believe every time I watch them. But, my son watches all the new stuff. I don't know the skaters' names. I mean, they're all like, 18 years old. But skating's just progressed so much that like all the parts now are sick. But
Do you remember the first film that you watched? Like, was it Animal Chin or was
probably
it
Animal Chin or
Yeah.
Public Domain. Yeah, probably Animal Chin. I might have seen a Mark Gonzalez part, or maybe the Savannah Slam. I don't know. One of those. Something in that time frame was the
Right.
first thing I saw. But it blew my mind, too. I mean, the thing that stands out to me from my childhood the most with skating as far as videos was Animal Chin. And vert skating was the thing then, but seeing them on that ramp, oh, my God, with all of them skating, it was awesome. It's probably my favorite when I was a kid. Yeah, they redid it for like the 30-year anniversary and skated it a couple years ago. It's still pretty sick. I mean, they all just still shred, every one of them.
And they still go, like, Cab, still, like, he rides dirt bikes and stuff now and still gets hurt. Like, he's still going
He
for
broke
it.
his leg, I think, twice the
Yeah.
last couple of years.
Yeah.
So he's just actually rehabbing and skating hard again, but he's not back to where he was. But, yeah, I mean, Lance Mountain's probably better now than he was when he was 20. Tony Hawk's still great. Mike McGill still shreds. He might even be a granddad now. He and Tony Hawk both, and they still are incredible.
That's
so
crazy.
I don't know. So that's interesting to me.
Yeah.
What's your favorite video?
My favorite video is Baker 3 because it's kind of like the first one that Andrew Reynolds and Mark Gonzalez are my two favorite skaters. Different time periods, but
Mark Gonzalez, before Rye Airfield just closed, rip. He would come. He was there because I think either his wife or girlfriend and kid live in Boston.
oh, okay.
And so he lives there a lot. And then I guess out in like Southern California somewhere, or maybe NorCal. I don't know. But anyway, he was here a lot, and like once a month would be at Rye
That's
skating.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
He still gets after it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baker 3 was like probably the most prominent video that I watched growing up just because mostly like the hijinks going on and stuff. Like just unbelievable. And the skating obviously is crazy too.
I mean, for me, street skating really happened as I was like a teenager. So seeing, Mark Gonzalez and Tommy Guerrero were the first that were real popular. But then seeing Natas Kappas, he was nuts. Like he was the first one that could really ollie. Doing wall rides from ollies and just all kinds of stuff. Those are like memorable things. But street skating really just became a thing with like Muska and those guys in the 90s.
Well, I
Andrew
used
Reynolds.
to have Muska shoes.
The Muska.
I like the zipper on the tongue of it.
Oh, yeah. His fashion sense is so bizarre, but it's been popular.
Skating all
Stash
way.
pockets.
I mean,
Stash box.
that
That's what I was saying
90s
earlier.
stuff, oh, my God. Yeah, my son just showed me that. He just got some DCs, some like new, like updated versions of those shoes that they're...
Oh, like the old
Of the
just
Muska?
giant.
Yeah, well, not just the Muska, but just those big old DC shoes and stuff. So they're updating them, and kids like my son right now. So he was into 80s skating a couple years ago, like time period when I was a kid. Now he's into 90s stuff. He's gotten into street skating a lot
Yeah,
recently.
he's dressing like me and my friends dressed in the 90s.
Yeah, intentionally.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where he's getting it from is
Yeah.
these skate videos. I mean, he actually got a VX or whatever. He's gotten two different ones now for filming, and for maybe Christmas last year, or he's had them for about a year, I guess. But they film on these cameras, which is so inefficient and it's so expensive.
Yeah.
The cameras sell for more than they did probably new now.
Yep.
And then they break all the time, and there's like, the one witch doctor you send them to that can fix them, and it costs like $500 every time you send them in.
Does
Just
he skate,
like
does he
cr-
skate little wheels like they did in
Sometimes.
the 90s?
So he has there are these wheels called Boardy Cakes, and maybe Thomas will post them up. And they've got all the way down to like 40 millimeter wheels.
That's crazy.
Like,
but that's super
tiny.
90s, right? Like super
Oh yeah,
early
total
90s. Yeah.
90s. He does it some, but then he gets aggravated because he can skate transition really well, which
Right.
most of the kids that skate a lot of street don't skate transition, and those wheels are slow and just horrible for skating transition. So he'll do it for a while or set a board up, but then goes back and forth. But yeah, he'll skate little wheels. I mean, it's kind of cool. He skates everything.
You hit the tiniest rock.
Oh,
Your
Oh
day's
yeah,
over.
You're
Oh
gone.
yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
that's true. I don't like them. I think it's stupid.
It
Yeah,
is
I got
cool.
I can't
I got the
kick
big
flip
soft
or anything.
orange ones on my board,
Yeah.
just for bombing around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
It makes it nice.
Yeah.
It is cool seeing that kind of just the repeating of style, like a lot of kids dressing like the early 90s, huge pants. Like,
Oh God, he and his friends just go thrifting, and he'll spend $50 and have a garbage bag full of stuff, and like you know, he's probably a 28 waist and he's 6 feet tall, you know, and he'll buy
40 pants,
42s. Yeah, 42, you know, like bootleg. And yeah, it's ridiculous. I can't stand it, but that's what they're into.
I think it's cool. It's cool to see it come back.
He's gonna come in wearing Jenkos or Boss.
Yeah, I think he probably has some.
Probably.
Those Jinka or whatever.
Yeah,
they're
they're still popping. Jinko.
Yeah. I think occasionally they'll find them in the thrift store.
Oh yeah.
But if you find them online, I think they're like $200.
Yeah, they're
to
not
buy
cheap.
'em.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're definitely
Skinny
expensive.
jeans are going out, Thomas.
Not for Thomas. Not if you're the lead singer of an aspiring New England band.
That's true.
Speaking of bands and skate videos, since you asked, my favorite,
Anthrax.
my favorite skate video.
Bring
was
the noise.
CKY.
Oh, the original or CKY2K? Because that was like the one that popped.
It kind of all blends together.
That's cool. Because that whole time period when it kicked off the original Jackass and all that stuff, Viva La Bam, like that is my childhood. Like I grew up on it, and that's like the cool. Like I have the best memories about all that stuff.
My son has us watching that at night right now. My woman loves it too, like the Jackass stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so that's what he's into like currently.
Me and my friends have crashed many shopping carts because of Jackass.
Bam.
What in the world are you guys thinking?
Bam did he like CKY2K. Bam like put all that together and distributed it all himself.
I believe
which I did not realize at the time, but super. And he's
Bam got rich.
yeah, he's gone off the rails again, but
That's too bad.
yeah, he's just
Such a talented
all those
guy.
guys had super substance issues, and
Yeah.
for the most part, they all got
I
clean.
know, it's
but he's just
amazing.
going up
I
and
mean,
down.
you would have picked Steve-O to die, and he's the only clean one that's
I
alive.
think all of them are clean now,
Not
except
Bam.
for Bam, right?
Well, I don't know that Wee Man was ever. Or
I don't think he was
Preston.
too
I
bad.
don't think Ryan Dunn's alive.
No,
Right.
he's
not
dead as
alive.
Super
shit.
dead.
Yeah, he is very
Yeah.
dead. Yeah,
So I don't
but
know.
it's cool to see a lot of these guys.
Johnny
That-
Knoxville's probably doing good,
Yeah,
right?
I mean they have a fourth one coming out, Jackass 4, but Bam is not in it just because he can't get clean.
Yeah.
So sad.
It is sad.
I mean, he's such a talented skater too, man.
Yeah.
Because you think of that time period, and then Rob Dyrdek, like the success that he's
Right.
had. You know, and Bam was 100 times more popular and famous than him,
Yeah,
and probably
at least as a skater,
twice as talented.
right?
Fearless too. I mean, that guy would jump some gaps at full
Giant
speed.
balls. His drop ins, holy
Yeah.
crap, Thomas! You should post some of those right now.
I
like
saw-
some of his drop ins with like 10 feet of vert and 5 feet of transition.
There was this little like
Scary.
I don't remember what it was called. It was like a Tony Hawk like trick tips or something like that, and it was Bam was on it. Mike V was on it, and then
Yeah.
Bam kind of came into it, and I thought he was so cool. And he told this story about like doing an axle drop in, and I was like, oh, that's because I had never dropped in before. I'm like, that's how I'll do it, and it did not go well. I hung up so bad, just landed straight to flat, and like I was like, I can't do this anymore. But I thought he was so cool.
Got a question. Mike V, how do you say his last name?
Valalay.
I'm gonna go with Valali.
Ooh,
Well, God, now I don't remember.
I say Valalay.
But the way
I don't know.
the
But
way
Valali's-
the way everyone
Valali.
says it is incorrect.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So how did everybody used to say it? Mike Valali, Mike Valali.
I think
that's
it's
probably
I
the
think
way.
that's what people
Yeah.
said.
Yeah,
is
Valali is the
I
right
say
way.
Valali.
Yeah. He's gotten weird. I fucking hate California. California can suck it.
He's very
He
peaceful.
was New Jersey,
Yeah,
like
tough
totally
guy.
obnoxious. That video, oh my God,
Yeah,
we
the
should
four
post that
guys.
video of
That was
him.
in CKY, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I don't know, but
it's
outside of
okay.
like a hockey game or something,
No, it was a convenience store.
he's
Yeah,
like
like a
skating, and some
Convenience store,
dudes
truck stop or
Yeah.
something.
some dudes started making fun of him. He beat up like four
Four of
grown
them.
men at
Whipped
one
his
time.
shirt off.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
started
he's
all
an
four of them.
animal.
I guess
and
he
now
hates
he's
that video, but
Oh, of course.
yeah, he's gotten all green and soft, and what a pussy.
he played.
Such a shame.
I agree with what you're saying as far as like he's on the peace train now, but I think Street Plant's really cool and they do a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah,
And, like
yeah.
he and his daughter.
Him doing it with his daughter, totally cool. But him getting so soft,
Yeah.
such a shame.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Tough dude,
he
though.
was the freaking outlaw because it was part of it. Like Dwayne Peters and all these guys that were super hardcore, they hated Tony Hawk because he was so like clean cut
Right.
and skateboarding was like so like renegade at the time. And Mike V on Bones Brigade because you had Steve Caballero,
Right.
Mike McGill, Tony Hawk, all these California kids, and Mike V being from
East
like
Coast.
East New Jersey, a
Right.
poor family, like just a New England redneck. Oh, he was so hardcore, and yeah, now he's one of them.
Yeah.
Eating tofu,
He'll probably live longer.
grow tits.
Well.
Nothing wrong with that, I guess.
I like boobs.
Were you
Jay's
were you
generation.
into like the original Z Boys and stuff like that, or did you not after
No,
that?
that's older than me.
Yeah.
No, Bones Brigade. I mean, the original,
Yeah.
like Animal Chin, Tony Hawk, Gator Hosoi.
Yeah.
Steve Caballero has probably always been my favorite. That was the time like I fell in love with skating.
Yeah. That's cool.
So funny, this morning I was texting my buddy Mike Hamill, who I grew up down the street from me, and he and I started skating together. But I remember he was texting me because he had a Brand X Weirdo, which was kind of an off-brand. They only made a couple boards, and that's what he had when we started skating. And they announced a reissue, and he paid for it 3 years ago and thought he'd never get it. And the guys would get in touch with him like once a year. And he just got a notification this morning that they're shipping it.
Wow, that's cool.
So he's pretty stoked. So that's pretty cool. But
I was reading something. I didn't hear anything you just said.
okay.
I'm sorry.
What'd you read? What the fuck are we talking about anyway?
I was looking up Daewon Song, so I couldn't remember.
Oh,
like,
my
Whoa,
Daewon
Daewon.
Song, my favorite
Yeah.
videos in skater right now.
Daewon.
I
Oh,
should have
for
said
sure.
him. Oh
Yeah.
my God, you
I
just
couldn't
stole
remember
it from
who
me.
he skates for, so it's almost.
Who cares?
Almost.
Oh, he does
he's
skate
still
for almost?
Yeah, he's. I'm pretty sure he's like
He's my favorite guy to
part of
follow
the-
on
part of
Instagram.
the
Yeah,
company.
his Instagram is, I mean, he's an old guy that knows Instagram better than anyone. He's my favorite skater right now, and I honestly believe Elon Musk and Daewon Song are aliens.
He is an alien.
Yeah.
Like, you watch that video, and how old is Daewon? Can you look it up?
He's got to be in his 40s.
He doesn't age.
He's
with
got,
Tom
I think
Cruise.
he's my age.
Yeah.
And the stuff he does, honestly, and he even stopped skating for like 5 or 10 years,
Yeah.
and he
He's
was into
45.
like 45. So he was into tuner cars for like 10
Yep.
years and didn't touch a skateboard.
Yeah.
And has come back, and he's like street Jesus on a skateboard.
Like
so
no
good.
bushings in his trucks. Like
Yeah, well, he says his back truck's tight, none in the front. He likes it loose
Yeah.
in the front, but yeah,
there's the famous hard flip that he did, and it's like he doesn't like it, but it's like perfectly between his legs. I can't remember where it is, obviously.
obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously.
Of course, I bring it up and don't know where it's at, but
All of his videos, he just looks like an artist. I mean, it even seems separate from all skateboarding.
yeah,
Like him,
Even his like skating in the house during lockdown and stuff, just being creative.
yeah.
I mean,
he's insane.
he's one of the most creative people I've
Yeah.
ever seen.
It's cool to see that too, like his style of creativity. And then you've got those guys like Richie Jackson who are like grinding chains and stuff like that.
He is so nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's so weird because you see Richie Jackson and like he's got the little mustache and the
Yeah, and he wears,
outfit,
like, the-
and he looks like a like I said, like a French pirate. Daewon Song is just like it's just who he is.
right.
He's not like trying to be special. He's just. And it is interesting with creativity. Like some people want to express it,
They got to tell you they're creative.
and then Daewon Song. I mean, I bet you he only posts these Instagram videos just to continue to get paid. Like he doesn't probably give a shit if anyone sees it.
Well, he posted recently some stuff and he apologized. He's like, "This is all stuff you've seen before, even though it wasn't super recently."
You can watch it 100 times.
Oh yeah, it's insane. Like,
It doesn't even make sense. I have to watch his videos over and over because I half the time I think it's like CG or.
well, that's the thing. I love all the stuff where it would be like, it looks like he's grinding a shoebox, and then they pull the camera out, and
He's
it is
cool,
like
man.
that stuff, and like all the old pictures of him when he had like frosted tips, leaning against cars and stuff from the '90s. I'm like, this dude's so cool.
It's the 90s. It was such a terrible time. I don't know, the 80s and the 90s.
I mean, I know you have the electric.
Oh
longboard and
yeah,
the
I
one
got the
wheel and stuff.
Walgo. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I will say, who was that company? They went out of business. They raised a shitload of money. They did electric skateboarding. Liam Pace, the skater we sponsor, was sponsored by him, and Andy McDonald. They're doing like commercials and shit. They ran out of funding, went out of business.
One wheel?
No,
No,
it
they're
was
still-
I forget, but they were really nice. But the horrible Chinese, they were creating their own brand out the back door, which was Walgo,
Oh.
and it is a copy.
Boosted?
Boosted.
Oh,
so
right.
it's a boosted board. So a boosted board was like $1,800, which I was willing to buy. Went out of business the day I decide. So our buddy Talon Sai, he reviews a lot of electric skateboards, and he's giving me the rundown. But Walgo is basically what bankrupted them because the Chinese start a factory next door to the boosted factory, and they steal all the technology, and that's Walgo. And then people like my dumb ass buy it. But I would have bought boosted. I only bought Walgo because Boosted was out of business. But it's $750. It is the most fun I've probably ever had on a skateboard because I'm not very talented. But hand remote, the thing charges. It uses the little, I don't know, micro, whatever you call the charge. Anyway, simple. Charging it is easy. The thing is awesome. It goes 24 miles an hour with 205 pounds on it. It is horrifying, but it is so fun.
That is cool.
I love it.
So
I have a one wheel and I have that, and my son likes the one wheel better. And maybe I would too if I were younger, but I like the longboard, the Wowgo better. Yeah. And $750, most fun I've had for $750 maybe ever.
So it sounds like one guy who was their Boosted's first customer in California, their first dealer, bought all of their inventory after they went bankrupt, and he owns a company called, I just had it, sorry, Last Mile SF.
I haven't heard of them. I mean, I got mine, so I wasn't that worried about it. But maybe I'll get another one this year because, yeah, Ivana, she learned to ride it and to use it. So, yeah, now I don't get to use it. Maybe I should buy a new one. Maybe I'll try it. But, I mean, the Wowgo, I've been super happy with it. $750, man. I mean, it's a lot for, like, a skateboard. But if you're in any of that or you live in a city and you want to get around, the thing is so fun. Casey Neistat, who is a popular YouTuber who's kind of retired, moved to California. He was, he was one of the first guys, became big, and made a bunch of money. So he was sponsored by Boosted too, and I would watch all of his videos. They're super awesome, very positive. He was a neat guy, smart guy. But he would ride it all around New York and got me real excited about it, for Portsmouth. So, when I'm at the office in the summer, when it doesn't have to be summer, just not 2 feet of snow on the ground. I take it from the office into Portsmouth and ride around, and I'll even sometimes carry my skateboard while I go. I go have lunch at Lexi's, get the gourmet burger, go down to the water, and there's a couple curbs there that I love to go around. I get on my regular skateboard, skate around, go back to the office. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, so you're not just a purist. Like, you're cool with longboards and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think the whole idea of, I don't know, like, whether it's hunting or skateboarding, I just want people to enjoy it. Shooting, hunting, skateboarding, anything. So stop being fucking assholes. Like, just because you're a great street skater or whatever, you skate transition to shit on longboarding, you're just a dick.
How do you feel about scooters in the skate park?
Here we go.
Scooters and bikes, they get on my fucking nerve. Here's the only thing I don't like about it is
they wreck the spot.
Well, yeah. But here's the thing. Most of the scooters, the kids are young. The moms bring them as a babysitter. So they're out there like texting their boyfriends or, swapping recipes, whatever the fuck the moms are doing. And there is no etiquette. Like, by the time you can skate, because you can scooter at 6 years old. You're not afraid of getting your ass whipped at 6. By the time you can really skate, let's say 10 or 12 years old, if an older guy says, you snake me again, I'm going to beat your ass, you settle the fuck down. But the lines are different for scooter and BMX. BMX goes all over the fucking park. You don't know what's going to happen. But scooter, they do one thing and they pause and they stop in the middle of the park, which sucks. And the kids are so young, they don't understand the etiquette. Nobody's teaching them. But by the time you're skating and you're able to skate the parks or the pools like we skate, you're old enough to, understand getting your ass kicked. And you don't have that with scooters. So I don't have a problem necessarily if they understand the etiquette. So I'm not trying to be a dick about it. But I love longboards, which I don't understand why most skateboarders are anti-longboard. I just want to roll around. I just like that feeling. So I don't care if it's a longboard or it's a actual motorized scooter. I have a motorcycle and a scooter. And I actually have way more fun riding the scooter, honestly. Longboards, anything with wheels. I just like to go.
Yeah. If you're out there pushing around, it's cool.
So
yeah.
You think the parents should be more involved in teaching their young kids etiquette on scooters?
Yeah, because I think parents are assholes.
If you have a young kid too, you're going to bring your 6-year-old, they're going to get smashed.
Especially when I was younger, skating now is so popular. It's in the Olympics, and I love that. The downside is, we have a skate park here. We're at Hampton Outdoor Park, which I love, and it's a DIY park. But since Rye Airfield, our indoor park closed down, all those housewives bring their kids to Hampton, and they don't understand etiquette. And so, like, I love kids more than most people. Freaking love kids, and I tell a kid to watch the fuck out like at least one time and then I feel horrible about it. But it's like some little kid that doesn't understand just keeps cutting in front of you. It's like, how do you not have a dad? Like, nobody smacked you on the fucking head? Like, watch the fuck out. Like, I'm going. You take turns. Like, I wait for you. So that's the part that bothers me. But
Did they have skateboarding at the Olympics this year?
there was no Olympics.
There was no Olympics.
They
yeah.
canceled it.
It
But
was-
there
this was the
was
first-
going to be.
yeah,
It's
this
going to
was
be
the
the first year.
Scheduled. Yeah.
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 They didn't do it last year.
Mm-mm. So it's supposed to happen this year. I bet it didn't happen this year either. But yeah, they postponed it to this year. But yeah, but this is the first year skating's in the Olympics, or last year was supposed to be. So the first Olympics, which most purists too hate it. But I want everyone to skate, just like I want to be able to go to the skate park. Because for me, like weighing 200 pounds, like if I run into some 6-year-old that weighs 40 pounds on a scooter, I'm gonna like knock him unconscious, and I got to deal with his mom Karen, bitching at me, and then plus you got a few bucks, you get sued. It's a pain in the ass. Before I know it, I got to build my own skate park. Skateboards only, BMX and scooters can suck it.
Just go on the street.
Or I want Adult Swim for skate parks. Why can't we have fucking Adult Swim? I want it at the gun range, and Adult Swim at the gun range. You know what that is?
Are there kids at the gun range?
No.
What is it like?
Sorta. Have silencer. Yes,
Oh, okay.
there are. But have silencers on your gun. I want the last 15 minutes of every hour, silencers only. Everybody without a silencer, set your fucking gun down. Take a seat. Sip you some seltzer or Campari. Let the men with silencers shoot without ear protection. You not ringing my ears with your 12 gauge, with your AR pistol with no silencer, with your 1911, with like your gator belt and all the shit, with your spur, all the weird shit. Just sit the fuck down. Let me do some shooting without ear pro. So yes, Adult Swim. I want Adult Swim at the skate park, where the scooters and everybody under 15 sits the fuck down. 15 minutes. Let me cruise around. That's what I want. And BMX, suck it. You sit down too.
Go to the streets. Transitioning to what you're saying about the range, not really transitioning, but I was curious. We kind of talked about the apocalyptic type deal, but is there any time you get a new gun, which nowadays I don't know how often you get new guns, but if you are the average person, you get a new gun, and you're going to use that gun, whether it's for shooting or hunting or whatever, do you have like a go-to, this is how I set up every single gun that I buy?
No.
Like, do you have, like, we had Edgar Sherman on, so we talked about, like, as a sling, one of the first things you put on, or do you have anything like that? I know you recently got some lights from Cloud Defensive.
Papa's a Rolling Stone, man. I just do everything how I feel at the time. Cloud Defensive. So on my Honey Badger.
It's bright.
Sorry, Thomas, do some motherfucking editing. So I put on my Honey Badger. Love it.
The Owl,
It's big.
This is the Owl.
the optimized weapon.
So they
light.
sent the Owl and the Rain Mini.
Yep. Micro, I think.
They are bright as shit.
So bright.
Like, I don't buy, like, Surefire used to send me lights, and I guess like my hookup or my, like cool guy tag expired, and I don't get the free lights as of a year or two ago. But I just use whatever they sent me. I didn't care. These are so bright. I like it. I like that you can move it from one side to the other.
Super easy.
Super cool.
End cap.
Clear anodized. Appreciate you. That's cool. Rechargeable battery, I actually like.
Yeah, and they come with a charger, too.
I know, now that I'm like old and I have all this shit, like I'm all anal about the chargers, like in the house. I got all the things charged up. If Aiden touches one, I freaking spin him
Do they
back,
come
kick
with a
him.
charger, or did they send
They
us a
come
charger?
with the
No,
charger.
yeah, so
Yeah.
you can buy it with just the light, or you can
Yeah.
buy the package, and it comes
Okay.
with the charger and
So it's an
the
option.
lights.
Got
two
it.
Oh,
lights.
that was a package.
Yep.
One you got has a charger in it.
Yep.
Charger and the battery. But things I don't like about it, it's too heavy. They need us to engineer this motherfucker to lightweight.
It is so big.
I don't even care that it's big if
Well,
it's a lightweight.
As far as people know, they're pretty indestructible. There's a lot of videos of those dudes
Okay.
smashing
Here we
them
go,
with
Jay.
Don't
rocks.
say shit to me like that.
Hey,
Cloud
You
What
just
does it
did,
cost?
and I'm telling you.
it's not my theory.
No, it's not. you can make anything big and heavy and make it strong. You can also engineer things correctly, like Q does,
Hey,
and they can be lightweight and durable.
I was setting you
Jay,
up for
what
that.
does an owl from Cloud Defensive cost?
I bet it's so expensive.
The package is
because they made it cool to these young kids.
I bet
It's gotta
the
be
package
expensive.
is it $389 or $289 for the?
Oh, you did your research.
Yes, sir.
How much is it?
It's $389.
$389 for the package.
Well, it would have been $500 if it were Surefire.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Probably.
Well, yeah, and that $389 is with the charger, with 2 batteries. Like,
I do not feel fucked by that.
It's 1 battery
okay,
and 1 charger.
right.
It
It only takes 1 battery anyway, so which is good. But
well, you're down while you're charging, I guess. What if somebody breaks in the middle of the day? Home invasion. What up?
If it's a middle of
If
the
it's
day,
middle
you
of
don't
the
need
day,
a
you don't need a
flashlight.
So yeah, charge your shit during the day. It's just too heavy. Otherwise, so far, I think it's awesome. I like how you can reverse it to either side very easily. I like the rechargeable battery.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't care about aesthetics, and even the size. It is big, but it is a lot of light. Like, I was shocked at how bright. I mean, I got a big house, and that front hallway, I don't know, what is that, like 90 feet long, and it lit it the fuck up.
Yeah, it's
I don't-
1,250 lumens at 50,000 plus candela.
Candela, yeah. So
I mean, I bet it's like DB. I bet they all
Well,
fucking cheat. And
I
stuff.
talked to Sean McCauley, who I believe is one of the owners of Cloud Defensive, and I don't want to misquote him, but he was talking about the
You should.
rain. I'm gonna misquote him for sure, so someone will fact check me on that. But I believe it's the rain under the right atmospheric conditions. It can throw light out to 500 yards using, like, you can still pick it up with the right glass under the right atmospheric conditions, which is insane.
I tell you, when I checked this in that front hallway in the house, it's so long. My first thought was, "Is that too bright?"
Right, yeah.
Like, I'm like, I don't know. But my only criticism so far, and give me shit or not, I'm going to be honest about it. The first thing I would do is put this thing on a diet. I mean, I don't even know those guys, but they were nice enough to reach out to us, so that's cool. But I like it, and I like this one because you have this. Let me have that one. So this one as well, which is a little more traditional thing, and you have this pressure pad. Is there a way, do you know, you probably do because you're all into this shit, that you can not have the pressure pad and you just have the beep, beep, beep button?
Yeah, you just did it.
But
I don't.
can I take that out?
As far as that, you might have to take the back cap off. You may be able to unplug that. I don't
know.
I haven't got my hands on the
Anyway,
rain yet. But
this part is a pain in the ass. I do not like the way they set this up. I would like to do that better, but I love the clear anodized. This doesn't seem too heavy, and this thing, oh my God, is it bright.
yeah, that's the rain. That's the one that he was telling me. Just
Rain's a
throws
good
light.
name.
So
Yeah.
Mod Light has the mod button, which is similar to this, connects to the
Is-
back of a
Wait,
Surefire.
Not
is
as
Mod
bright.
Light a different company?
Not
Yeah.
as bright.
Oh.
No, not as bright, but as far as a smaller button goes, like this is, I think, momentary and always on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
there's
don't
two
even
different
care
ones.
about the size of
need
the
that.
button, but just the way you install it.
I agree,
I don't
and I
love
think
it.
that's the big thing with the optimized weapon light is
This
it's
is
all,
this is clean. It's just they're using too much aluminum.
right.
Yeah, I don't like the. I mean, I like the pressure pad. I don't even know if I care about the 2 buttons. It's just it's difficult and it takes time to put on. And one thing this made me like about what we do, if you buy the fix, there's 2 tools. Every screw on your gun is a T25, and that was a pain in the ass. We had all custom screws made. You need 3 different tools for this, and that sucks. Cloud Defense, like us, needs to make custom screws with all. Use the same tool for everything. Every place there's a screw head should be the same tool, a
And
T15
it's not
or
even,
whatever.
It's not even different size. It's a Torx and Allen, which is annoying.
I think the
Yeah,
that-
well, Allen in general is annoying.
the screw thing aside, I think the idea of that more traditional with the cable is that one of the problems with the Owl is guys that run a laser, an illuminator, like a
They
pack
can't
box.
get to it.
Yeah, you can't. Well, it's just so they did that, and that way you can put it wherever.
Do
but
guys really run all that stuff on their guns?
super
If you
popular
do night
now.
vision and all that,
Yeah, super popular now.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm probably the only one that shoots a lot of stuff, and I'm like, I don't want all. Like I set, like if I go on a night hunt where I'm going to use an IR laser or I'm going to use something, I set the gun up with that. I don't leave one. I do leave a gun set up with my Reap IR,
Right.
my thermal on it, but I don't leave all the other stuff on it. I set it up depending on what we're doing.
Yep.
Because I don't want to have a gun set up with like 4 pounds of shit on it. I do like the light. I got to tell you, I like it. I like this setup. I like that it's offset. I like it attached to the top rail, especially on the Honey Badger SD, which I prefer because, can't really use these M-locks. I don't want to hear about it. We developed this gun before there was M-lock. Suck it. But the light's good. Yeah. I don't know that I'd ever heard of them.
Yeah,
there's stuff's cool.
We've kind of plugged him recently, but Grantham did. I think he is one of their I say advisors, but I don't necessarily know if he's contracted by them or anything like that.
Influencer.
Yeah, but I know they asked for feedback when they were testing the Owl, and he did a really good review on it, and he compared all the popular lights, and he did them at distances, kind of like he did with that on that MCX video where he went back increments of space. Yeah. And it was really cool.
I love his videos.
The Owl really did perform, at least visually through the camera, the Owl performed better than the other popular
I think it
lights.
depends on what you're doing. People do that, and you're talking about like home defense or an offensive situation. If you're talking about just for shooting someone that's a threat, you don't need to throw light at 500 yards. That's dumb. I don't know.
A point that he brought up that I thought was really cool is that if you look at those lights and you compare them to Mod Light or Arasaka or whatever, that light from the cloud defensive stuff is a lot warmer, and I don't know the whole science behind it, but I guess it's easier for your eyes, the human eye, to pick up detail with a warmer light.
Yeah, it's less contrast.
So that kind of stuff. So I guess for guys that are, especially in a home defense situation where you're trying to positive ID whatever you're about to shoot.
Well, I think, and I don't know, they probably know more than me, but me being a reasonably smart guy.
I thought you were about to say redneck.
Both. Well, being a redneck, I shoot a lot of shit. My buddy Chad.
Redneck as fuck.
Got his transfers back last night. Went out all night with his trash panda on his honey badger.
I love Chad.
He's the greatest. Chad's the fucking great. Anyway, so but what you get with rednecks go shoot shit, you get real life shooting shit.
Reasonably smart rednecks.
Yeah, but with warm light, the contrast isn't as harsh, so it's a little easier on the eyes. With the white light, stuff stands out, but if it's too bright, it's harsh and it's hard on the eyes. But like this house is probably bigger than normal.
Yeah.
And I don't need a light that bright. I mean, the cool thing about it is I'm gonna blind the fuck out of whoever it is,
right.
But like I could see someone easily identify a target, what they have, and shoot them with something half that bright.
Right.
Which with this gun, I would love for something to be smaller.
I got you.
I don't know. Maybe we should work with them on a Q light, be a small, lightweight one. We'll design the body and all, and attachment to be lightweight.
Yeah, I think they have cool products, and I think are you gonna? I know you're gonna keep it on that gun for a bit. Are there any scenarios where you use white light when you go hunt, whether it's night hunts or anything like that?
I think that's illegal.
Yeah, up here, yeah. But
no. I mean, with pigs and all, in some places it's not. I usually use green light with the pigs.
Right.
I keep a white light with me. Sometimes if it's small enough and compact and light enough, I'll have it on the gun. Just when we get up to something, we need light rather than worrying about carrying it on me. Like I mean, I'm usually super streamlined. The guns only have what I need. I don't carry a belt, a rig with a bunch of shit on it. I keep generally a spare mag in my pocket, and that's where I love those Vertex pants that they got me this. They have some kind of mom jeans, but some of their pants too they sent me are awesome. I think I'm wearing a pair now. And they got a place for an AR mag, and it's nice. And it doesn't take up my pockets. I'm not sitting on it. But sometimes the small white light, I'll use on a gun if we're night hunting, but not to light a target up, but after the fact to be able to light it up where I'm not carrying a light on my pocket. Because generally I stick it on me somewhere and I've lost them before or whatever. If it's on the gun, I always have it.
I know a lot of people just ask about what light do you recommend for the honey badger, or this or that or whatever.
They ask me all the time.
Yeah. And I think it is another scenario of, what do you need it for? But I think...
Well, we should probably partner with somebody, and we could have one of the engineers assigned to them, for some period of time, and develop a light or two that would, the body and everything that would make sense for us. But
we do sell on our website the Reptilia torch bodies, which are compatible with the Surefire, Mod Light, Arasaka, all the Surefire heads and tail caps, basically. So it's a good option. It's small, it's compact.
Well, I don't even know what that is. Why do we do it? Is it because it goes right to the M-lock?
It's an M-lock direct body,
okay,
so you don't have to have an intermediate mount.
Yeah, I love that. So reducing weight and making it more streamlined.
But we talked about it earlier, too, with that torch, that Reptilia torch, in comparison to that Owl, where you just pop the ends off and flop it around.
Mm-hmm.
The torch, you need to decide, that torch mount, you need to decide, do you want a left side or right side? So it's not interchangeable like that.
And it really, why does it matter?
I mean, I think it's ease of manufacturing.
Left and right hand shoot. I don't want to light on the left.
Well,
your
yeah,
button-
but you would order it that way.
Yeah,
Like
the
to
button.
me,
Yeah.
I would order this to put this light, this owl in particular.
You pass it over.
Yeah.
The button is on the top, so why does it matter left or right-handed?
Well, yeah, for me, it's just I put it on the right side because I sling it, and I'm right-handed with a rifle.
Yeah,
I guess
you
so
can-
you can reach up to
You
it.
can get by with that
Yeah.
if you were going to swap shoulders, but I think just more comfortably, and especially, I know it's not super easy to do right there with the hand stop, but like the way I have anything top mounted, whether it's a PEC or a light, is I run the vertical grip basically right under where my thumb would be.
But I mean, would you switch this from right to left?
No, but I'm saying if a left-handed, we have too many left-handed, I'm left-handed and blah, blah, blah. Like,
So making two different ones as opposed to making one that's universal. Like universal's cool for manufacturing,
yeah.
but it generally is not great for the consumer because there is going to be some sort of compromise.
So that's the argument for this here, because you can mount it at 12 o'clock, left
Yep.
or right, doesn't matter, but you can also get some distance between it and the flashlight.
Right.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about which hand you're going to use it.
Right. And if you want to have an illuminator or whatever, that you can still put it there and the light's not in the way, all that stuff.
Yep.
Hey, I'm Kevin from Q. This episode of the Q and Ask podcast got a motherfucking sponsor. Tactical Distributors, you're on fire. They carry all kinds of cool shit, man. I got my fancy tiger stripe summer pants here that everybody loves. I skate in those. I go to the club in those, pulling honeys all day. If I actually wore, anything to go in my pool or hot tub, it'd probably be these board shorts. They're also tiger stripe. Things like these Ultima boots, the maritime boot that are awesome. I don't even know what that means, but these are summertime hunting boots, thin sole, like skate shoes. They're lightweight, they breathe, they repel the water. A cool thing about Tactical Distributors. All right, number one, cool motherfuckers. Number two, their return policy, simple, easy. I never know because I got like the fat feet. So this could be a 10.5, could be an 11. I don't know. Order two sizes. I pick one, send it back. It's no trouble. Get a little label, send it back. Cost me no money. TacticalDistributors.com. Promo code, I don't know what you call it. Whatever code at the end. All right? Unpossible15. Unpossible15 gets you 15% off. TacticalDistributors.com. Give them a look.
So, I mean, engineering, you just talked about as far as functionality and all that stuff. We've kind of touched on it before as far as looks and aesthetics. What do you think is the ugliest gun ever made? Because I know right off the bat.
Oh, my God. I don't even know if there is one.
There absolutely
You want to
is.
give me a time period or anything? I
No.
wanna
Well, yeah, sure. We'll go
categorize.
from the 60s up. Or we'll say the 80s up.
It's so, everybody has their own opinion of what looks good.
I agree. But the thing that sparked it was in the shop we have one of the new FNs. I forget which one.
509C.
That's right. And
You think that gun's ugly?
no, I think it's good looking gun.
Yeah,
but,
it's good looking gun.
But our silencer boy Jack said, "This is the ugliest gun I've ever seen." And I said, "You're an idiot."
Well, first of all, that's not nice.
Sorry, Jack.
And second of all,
I thought he was talking about saying the gun was ugly.
Oh,
yeah, who cares what he thinks?
yeah.
And that's not a
fuck
dig
you,
at him.
Jack.
It's just his opinion versus yours. Like,
Well, what do you think
I don't know.
is?
I
VP
think-
70.
It's an ugly gun.
Ugly.
Yeah, that's true, but that's in the 70s.
Yeah.
I mean, the Glock is hideous. You
do
just
you
get
think the
used
Glock-
to it.
Yeah. See, I like the look of the Glock, but maybe it's because
I
I'm
do
used
too
to it.
now, but the first time I saw it, like the first few years I was into firearms, I would have never purchased a Glock because they were so ugly.
G36 is kind of ugly.
I think that's ugly. The Maxim 9.
The Maxim 9?
It's cool, but I don't think it's like aesthetically pleasing. Looks like a taser.
Yeah, it does look like a taser.
Yeah. Yeah, it's ugly. But I like the way it looks in the sense of I know it's a silencer, trying to make it fit a holster, all the things.
If you see the silhouette of it, you know what it is.
Exactly. Iconic is a different thing too, because I was going to say like the 1911, but the 1911 is just iconic. It's not necessarily the most aesthetically cool gun, but it's iconic.
I don't know. Who cares?
Me. Aesthetics. I'll run a gun that does. Well, no, I won't run it, but I'll have a gun that looks cool and not run it just because it looks cool.
Yeah.
Run your mouth. It doesn't look cool.
Back in the early days of suppressors, it was super. The big thing was sound, decibels, sound.
Yeah.
And we've seen over the years that companies don't, any legit companies don't really push out that it's not focused on sound. So is there a transition to where they've realized more things are important, or what's your take on it? Because you've been there kind of from the start, not the start of silencers, but the boom of silencers.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to me looking at the market, even dealing with silencer shop customers now. I have 30 years experience. I'm 47. Not many people been around as long as I have involved heavily in silencers, like probably just me at this point. Up until 15 years ago, it was all about sound. But there were only half a dozen companies, and they were very small. The market was very small. From 15 years ago, the market's probably 20 times bigger than it was. And sound was everything. And the guy who was kind of the mediator of all this stuff was Al Paulson. So Al Paulson wrote some books, Silencer History and Performance, Volumes 1 and Dose. So maybe Thomas put that up here. So you can find them on eBay or whatever. But it was all about sound and all military standard testing, which is, like 1.6 meters high, meter left of the muzzle, basic analog meter from Brill and Care. And it was what it was. But in my opinion, it's pretty true to what you hear. At least, I've heard thousands of silencers, hundreds of thousands of shots from silencers. I got a pretty good ear for it. But that's all front of the muzzle or muzzle testing. And I think now as I've gotten older, and I always reserved the right to change my mind. I'm opinionated. I'm invested in this. I care about it. But what I think now is different than what I thought 15 years ago. And 15 years from now, hopefully it'll be different now or then. But my ear to mil standard testing, if I'm away from the shooter, is pretty spot on. But now I care about at the shooter's ear. So the testing isn't really as relevant. But sound testing, the sound of a silencer used to be everything. And I just don't think it is now. But the thing is, the industry grew. It's lucrative. So it's a different industry. And everybody copies everybody. There's plenty of quiet stuff. So it's all the other features that really matter to me now. Because we used to have sound comparisons. And what happened is this before really the internet. AWC and Gemtech were the major companies. I was a distributor for both. I started designing stuff at Gemtech. But I still dealt in AWC stuff. Their stuff was very nice. Doug Olson, who's the engineer, did all the Knights Armament stuff. And then he went to Surefire. Maybe he's at Wilson Combat. I don't know where he is now. But he did all the original stuff for SEAL Team 6, actually, in the 70s and early 80s. Qualitech was the company. I post on my personal Instagram some of those silencers. And he based all of his stuff on Maxim designs, which are very good. He was an alien as well with Elon Musk and Daewon Song.
And Caleb Cry.
Caleb Cry, probably an alien. God, I love Caleb. He's so cool. Weird motherfucker. Anyway, so, sound was really everything back then. And Al did all this comparison testing, and guns and weapons for law enforcement and special weapons for military and police were printed publications that he wrote for, and he did silencer comparisons. As soon as Advanced Armament started, so my company that I founded after I kind of had a falling out with Gemtech, when we started beating them, which we did with our 22 Integral, with 9mm, we beat them in everything, and we should have. I hired one of their designers. He lived in Atlanta where I lived, even though they were in Idaho. And he and I started Advanced Armament together. As far as I started the company, he was designing a lot of stuff. And we beat them in every comparison. So what Phil Dater, that piece of shit, did was he called Stanley Harris Publications, who's now defunct, probably because he gave in to shit like this. and told him that Gemtech would no longer advertise if they published comparison articles with silencers, with Gemtech products. And that's only because we were beating them. He loved it when they were beating AWC. And that stopped comparison articles. And so then the internet, is coming on. So Silencer Talk, which originally I think was Silencer Review. So it was a guy named Robert Silvers, who was an MIT grad, who I eventually hired and did a lot of stuff, including he did the slant baffle. I did the monocore. We gave him credit for everything because he wanted credit because he was independently wealthy, and he's a little guy with an ego. But he started a website testing silencers because he bought a bunch of SWR silencers back in the day, and they didn't perform as published, and he was really upset. And he started a website and testing just to show that they were not what they claimed. They weren't better than competitors. And anyway, before he launched the forum, the website, he contacted every manufacturer. And he had heard I was the biggest asshole, so he contacted me last. But everyone else said they wouldn't participate. He called me. I was like, I'm all in. Like, I want to compare my stuff against everyone else's because we'll kick their ass. And if we don't, then I'll work to design and build stuff that will be the best. And he did that testing for a long time. And then, Phil Dater again and some of the other guys complained that he was biased. And because what Phil Dater originally claimed, I was paying Al Paulson back in the day, which I was not. And Phil Dater's a liar. And then he claimed the same thing with Robert Silvers with Silencer Review, which turned to Silencer Talk. And it was not true. So then Robert just came to work for me. But it was because we earned everything on merit, and sound was a big deal. But as we started getting into military contracts, then it was size, weight, durability, construction, blowback, all of these other features. And sound, if there were 10 things on the priority list, sound would be number 8, 9, or 10. And we stopped caring about it as well, as far as the main priority. Designing the quietest silencer in the world, Ethan and I have done it dozens of times. But making the best silencer is what we're after. And how do you define best? I don't know.
Right.
But I think we do a good job with it. And building the quietest, who cares? Like I've said 100 times, if it costs $2,000 or it weighs 2 pounds, I don't give a shit. But now you see sound isn't a real thing. And you see Jay.
Pew Science.
Yeah.
A lot of cool metrics that he uses.
He's doing a lot, but it's too complicated.
I think I agree for the layman. I think it is pretty complicated. I saw he did some comparisons with, I think it was just back pressure. It might have been sound and back pressure, but I was just looking through the graph, and granted, all the information that you need is there, and if you can sift your way through it, you're going to find it. But at first glance, I was like, this is a lot. I'm going to need it. I'll look at it later. Like, I can't look at it right now. I'm doing stuff. But I think he's a good example of an independent source. He doesn't seem to be biased at all.
I don't think he is.
And he's looking for important stuff.
I think he is completely honest. I think he's brilliant, probably too smart for his own good, too smart for the average person he's trying to connect with. But he seems really hung up on back pressure and a couple things that I think are not the most important things. Like if the quietest silencer is what sold, that's all we would do.
Right.
But it has to be everything. Like Dead Air had their chemo mount to fix the Silencer Co. shitty ASR mount. The Dead Air mount, like, their mount and flash hider weigh as much as our Trash Panda and Cherry Bomb. So who cares? It's irrelevant. And now you see them copying our mount. And they say, oh, well, no, it's because it's a left-hand thread. It's better. Well, guess what, jackass? If you're a real engineer and you understood, like, we have instructions. If you torque the things correctly, you don't need all those wrench flats. You don't need that extra weight. Because even the thing Dead Air did is twice the weight of what we're doing. I mean, it's light for them, but, it's like the B team. But Jay, I think I love what he's doing. I want to support him, but I think he's so in the weeds. I mean, I hate it, but I don't even really read the reviews because I think there's a lot of information that we don't necessarily most of the population or people buying silencers don't need.
I wonder if there's a way for him to do, because I believe he does something with Patreon as far as you can get more. I know he does like a podcast. I think you can potentially pay to like a Patreon thing to get more information or whatever.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a way to do just the down and dirty. Here's the 4 topics brackets of this can. And then if you want all that extra information, because he puts in the work and gets the information, then you could go search for it too. But I think just from what I've seen, the initial report that he gives out, it's just like there's so much. It's like option paralysis.
Well,
there's so much on there.
Okay, so back pressure and sound at the shooter's ear. But what about durability? What about the weight? What about all these things? I will take more back pressure and I will take, less durability to save $1,000 and a pound on the end of my gun. So, I don't know what the right number is. It's something when I started American Silencer Association that I wanted to do was have a simple grade for a silencer based on things that actually matter. But the problem you run into, whether it's him or it's Ethan or guys with that sort of intellect, is getting them to really boil it down to stuff that's important for what sells. Do you read Jay's reviews?
I skim through them. There's a lot of information. He is way smarter than I am. And it shows in his writing. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think there's people for it. I think he needs to have a Pew Science for Dummies section of his website for me.
So you agree?
Yeah. I think I'm not trying to discourage him from continuing. I think he should continue doing what he's doing. It's important. He doesn't show any bias.
Yeah.
He's good friends with us.
He has a lot of integrity in my opinion.
Yeah. He's very good friends with us, and he's very high on the big CGS Hyperion 762. So that in itself tells me that he is not biased. Or
the most recent report that I saw, I think it was sound at the shooter's ear and back pressure, whatever, and the Trash Panda was just somewhere in the mix. He's obviously been to the shop. He built the gun, and he's a cool guy. Everyone gets
we've
along
supported
with him.
We continue to support him,
and it shows, like you just said, that the fact that he didn't just put the Trash Panda up top because
of drama or whatever
exactly.
it is.
I think that's cool.
Well, I think a lot of guys are afraid to do that too because we take so much heat for me running my mouth and calling people out. So, just like you see the Grand Thumb video where the first time ever, people offered to pay him to say bad things about the honey badger.
Right.
And, whether it's CGS and, that little douchebag or, Griffin or some of the other silencer companies that are fucking hacks. Like, I don't, I never know because I think it's him trying to be friends with everyone too. But that CGS can, I've seen it. It's stupid. It's the size of the 50 caliber silencer that I did at Advanced Armament. It weighs 2 pounds. It's just a thread mount silencer. The baffle's super complicated. The silencer's very expensive. They couldn't produce it and make it a value to customers, so now they're going to 3D printed stuff. So, who fucking cares?
So Jay should continue, not you. Jay from Pew Science should continue to do what he's doing. I like that he's not biased. He's reporting the facts, and if we're not the best, he's going to, in some way, show us. And, competition, I think, drives improvement in the marketplace.
Well, here's what I'll say is, what's best mean?
Well, that's, my favorite silencer, like I just posted online, it's the Half Nelson. Yeah. It's not our quietest. It's not QD. It's very simple, but it's what I like. It works for me, and that's all I care about.
Yeah. So, I think the problem is if we don't have some standard to measure and we've got one guy deciding what's best or what's important, and I would believe guys like Jay and guys like Ethan, that varies from time to time, and not having some particular standard as much as people didn't like the mill standard. Provide something like that, the shooter's ear, something easy to understand. But also, we design our stuff to be lightweight, incredibly durable, provide proper sound performance, the blowback, point of impact shift, accuracy, all the things are taken into consideration. And who's the one to value that? So then who are you valuing it for? Are we looking for something that's like for the soldier? Because if that were actually what's really important. Everyone would drive Humvees or tanks,
man.
you know, and we don't do that. So
I think what he does coincides with what you just said as far as like what is the best. And I think the options that he gives out, I don't, as far as what I've seen with the stuff or the reports that Jay puts out, I don't think he says this is the best silencer, this is the best silencer. I think it's just in the categories. Here's where they ranked in these, but I don't think he has like a cumulative.
Well, he has his silencer sound standard, and I'm looking at it right now. And there's 5 things he reviews when he's doing his analysis, and he uses a lot of real science. I mean, he's an actual
scientist.
Legit.
A smart guy.
So number 1, peak magnitude of sound pressure at the muzzle and at the shooter's ear. Number 2, duration of sound pressure at the muzzle and the shooter's ear. Number 3, hearing damage potential to the shooter and to bystanders. The 4th one is silencer performance on a paired host weapon, so that one can change depending on what the host weapon is. And then objective loudness, which is directly related to hearing damage potential. So he has his whole link for his standard. He's trying to create an industry standard for sound testing.
Well, yeah, just for sound.
Exactly, that's just sound.
Mm-hmm. Well, sound and back pressure, I think.
Right.
Well, the only
duration.
reason you generally care is because of sound, unless it's reliability of the weapon. But, you know, what if we do something that weighs 5 pounds and costs $7,000?
Right.
Well, sure, and that's like when Edgar was here, and we were talking about how the MCX, the LVAW, won based on a few things, including sound. It was the quietest submission because it was massive. Yeah. So was that the best thing for the end user? Or was that just the thing they put on paper?
Yeah. So that's a tough one. Mm-hmm. So then it comes in the other things, you know, like the mounting systems. Oh, my God. Like when we talk about, I don't know, what do I have here? So a Gemtech silencer from back in the day. And this is pretty much, Special Ops Shop did this 3-lug spring-loaded business for MP5 3-lug barrels. Everyone's copied it ever since. You brought up CGS. Everyone copies it now. Spring-loaded 3-lug business. Well, spring-loaded, so you got a moving piston, so you have all these tolerances, so it moves on the barrel a little. So how big's your bore need to be?
Bigger.
Yeah, and you know, you're not just putting it on HK barrels now. I saw the Griffin sisters make 3-lug adapters. So you have an adapter going on a threaded barrel with a 90-degree Schultz. Then it's weight, moving parts, all these things. I hate these. They suck. We shouldn't do this anymore. Like, it's even worse now than it was 15 years ago. Most of the barrels were the German HK barrels that you would see. And, like, this is a silencer, an early AWC silencer done by Tim Bixler. So it's on my MP5. And, so anyway, you loosen it. There's only 2 parts. There's no spring-loaded business. And, let's see. It'll come off eventually. Maybe not. There you go. But it's just a threaded collar. You put it on the gun, you tighten it up, and it's rock solid. There's no movement.
And you're pulling it down onto the tapers of the lugs?
Yeah, you're pulling it on the tapers of the lugs, and it's just 2 movement, and now it's rock solid. Like all these spring-loaded ones, once you get it on the gun, the silencer wobbles. It's stupid.
It's a big old can.
And they carbon up. Yeah, that's a can that was done in the 80s by Tim Bixler. It's a coaxial can. But again, it's a ton of volume, you know?
Right.
And that was made to be disassemblable so you could clean it and all this stuff. Well, then all that makes it heavy. But if you do a big volume silencer, do it correctly, materials, you could weld it together, be lightweight.
You kind of touched on something before, and we've seen our neighbors in Old Portsmouth do it recently, but 3D printing is becoming a thing. And do you have anyone?
Yeah.
Do you have any opinions on who does it right and who does it wrong so far?
No, I don't think anybody does it right. I will say this: 3D printing. So back Surefire, so you cloners, their SOCOM 556 can. So in that contract, we won the machine gun silencer at Advanced Armament, attached to our 92 tapered mount. There's a 3D printed core, a welded tube. I don't think anyone does it correctly now. And you see, like, talking of CGS, They built quiet stuff, but it was huge and it was heavy and it was stupid and it was complex and it was weak. So now they scrap that whole line of silencers. Now they 3D print everything. Like, why would you 3D print a tube? Tubing is so consistent, so easy. It's so inexpensive. The tolerances are held super tight, and all you got to do is 2 robotic welds. Simple. So these companies printing the whole tubes and everything, it's dumb. I mean, I think 3D printing's the future, but we've got a ways to go. I don't think we're there yet.
The most recent 3D printed silencer I saw, I was not a fan of.
Which one was that?
That was the Mod 9, the SIG one that just came out. Similar to an erector, but just I don't think it was executed properly.
It's tough.
Yeah, I mean, in 3D printing, Daniel Defense is doing the silencers, and now, CGS is doing it. And
I think it can be done right. I don't know that the technology is there to print.
It's not affordable if you're doing it right now.
It's not affordable. It's going to be heavy because I don't think you can print thin enough to save the weight. You have to get creative like the Mod X where it looks like kind of a Star Wars exterior. Yeah. So they had to do that to strengthen it a bit, I think.
The problem with a lot of the gun companies trying to do it is every engineer or designer that works at a gun company wants to do a gun. They don't want to do a silencer. And so it's all half-assed. You probably shouldn't 3D print the tube, like 3D printing the core. Like, this probably makes sense. We ended up casting this for the government, but you 3D print something that's very complex. Like, that's probably still better casting or maybe even machining than 3D print. But putting in a tube and welding it, that's probably what makes sense. But, I think most of the companies now, I mean, if you're doing super low volume like CGS or even Daniel Defense, 3D printing is probably okay. The volume we're doing or, some of the other companies, I just don't think we're there yet for it to be affordable and to be able to produce enough.
But you foresee that in the future that maybe this is going to be the way eventually?
Sure, additive manufacturing eventually is going to be the thing.
And that's the future for pretty much everything. I
think.
Right,
a lot of stuff, yeah.
All parts. Yeah, I mean, cutting metal is stupid.
Yeah. What, in your history and in the industry and all that, what are some of the worst ideas that you or people in your team have had that never quite made it to fruition?
I don't know. I mean, anything we did that was bad seems like we just didn't do adequate testing or we didn't have real engineers. Rushing to market is generally bad. I can't think of a particular
Or what's some good ideas that never made it that you wish maybe made it? Or should we not say that?
Well, I don't know. Like when I was fired from Advanced Armament, we were doing this, but it was way better. That was a good idea. It never made it to market. The black box, which inspired this silencer. Yeah. So there's some videos of the black box that are like 15 years old on YouTube right now.
Was that an AAC thing?
Yeah, AAC. That was cool. But a problem with this was AAC took off. The silencer market took off. We were so back ordered, and I didn't have actual engineers at the time. So it was a difficult project for me to work through. And we just shelved it. And you see them, I don't know, do they still make this can?
The Osprey? I don't know.
But it's not that popular.
I remember it being, there was like a little surge of it at first because all that mass is below and people are like, you can still use your sights and all that stuff. But
yeah, you couldn't though. You still had to have some taller sights actually.
And I don't know how I've never heard one shot in person, so I don't know how
it's
well.
Fine. A lot of first round pop. They messed some stuff up. That was something.
It's on their website, 945 and 45K.
Short 45, I guess you use it wet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, probably 9 out of 10 ideas we have are bad. And hopefully we figure it out before it comes to market. I think we're way better at it than 15 years ago.
Do you have any, like, off the top of your head as far as bad ideas? Or like, I have plenty of bad ideas that I have every single day, but I don't know if they necessarily pertain to this.
Well, we're not talking about fashion.
We did a bullpup at SIG. It was, I don't know.
That was a dumb idea.
For one customer, it was a dumb idea. I'm glad it never made it to market. The thing was not awesome. Yeah. But
all bullpups are kind of a bad idea.
Yeah. Carbon fiber shell with Kevlar just in case it blew up next to your face. I don't know.
There are things that I heard about over the time that I get like, I think on some of the original SSGs, the bolt was shooting out the back of them. I don't really know why, but
No, that was Blousers, I think, for the most part. Wasn't it Blouser talking about?
I did not hear that.
I remember reading an old article about them sending it, like people would send them back in and they'd fix it and not test fire it because they didn't want to happen again.
So it's straight pull? Is that what we're talking about?
I thought it was the SSG, but I guess I could be wrong.
No, I think the SSG is legit. I think that was the Blouser.
I know it ended up being the SSG ended up being
I would have
a
that
great
concern
gun.
with the straight pull stuff just because, my perception.
Here's an idea that I think was a good idea that wasn't successful. So maybe it was a bad idea. The Prodigy silencer. Overall, it's a monocore, not too different from this one. Tapered tube inside, so like once you break it loose, separate it, the core comes out easily, which I thought was kind of cool. But I copied this mount. It is a thread quick detach mount that I copied from Maxim. And the idea, Jesus Christ, where are my glasses? So I got it from Maxim. Here we go. Now I can see. So I have a couple of dots. Dot on here. Dot on the silencer somewhere right there. You put them together and then it should rotate. Yeah. So 90 degrees. Fast attach silencer. Also thread mount. So this is half 28.
Interrupted thread?
Interrupted thread.
Yeah.
So been done many times before. And actually, like on this Maxim silencer. So here's a mount you'd put on the gun. Same thing. Boop. Same thing. And now I see like the Griffin sisters, they have their cam lock or something that they invented. It's the same thing. Like Maxim did it 111 years ago. AAC did it 11 years ago. And now you see it. And it's like people didn't take to it. Like nobody cared. I thought it was super cool because you could.
It is cool.
You could still thread this onto your half 28 barrel, or if you have that adapter, it's fast attach.
I think it's
like
cool.
the Maxim. So that was kind of a cool one.
Let me call up AAC and see if I can get one.
Yeah, maybe not a good idea selling it to those guys.
While you're on silencers, can you, for the people in the back, can you explain boosters for pistol silencers?
Yeah, so a booster or a Nielsen device or a recoil regulator is a spring-loaded device. So it's a piston that your pistol barrel threads into that's spring-loaded, that when your gun cycles, a Browning-type action, the tilting action, where the barrel will dip slightly, the spring allows the barrel to move independently of the mass of the silencer momentarily so that the gun can cycle. So the most copied one that I know of, so AWC had one, Knights Armament had one, and then I did one at AAC for our Evolution silencer. And what I did that was special there the first time ever was I had the booster housing that the spring and piston rode in. I made it coaxial. So I poured it and I created area around it, volume that the gases could expand to. And what that did was a couple things. It reduced the back pressure, and it also eliminated first round pop and sound reduction by several dB. And it's what everyone out there uses now and copies. So basically it comes out like this, and this is a booster. So, this one has a fixed weapon spacer in it, but normally a spring would be over this. But it goes in the booster housing, which is vented and coaxial, and this would lock into here, and you thread this into the silencer. So it's kind of a triaxial design. It's what everyone uses now. But it's important for the gun to cycle. And if you want to put it on a fixed barrel gun, or like this silencer in particular, if you want to put on like an MP5, then you put that spacer in there so the silencer didn't move while you were firing.
Pretty simple.
Yeah, so with the Erector 9, we're going to do it, and it'll be a separate module that goes in the back, just like the 3-lug. Like when I showed earlier, we're going to have a non-spring-loaded 3-lug adapter. It's light, it's simple, fewer parts, it doesn't move, you'll get better accuracy, less point of impact shift. It's just an all-around better way of doing it. But we'll also have a booster for pistols. So like a Glock or whatever, that's what you'll use. It's critical. You know, what we used to have to do back in the day was try to make silencers under 6 ounces so that they would cycle. So they would be so small and lightweight you would have to fill them with grease every 10 rounds in order to shoot them, and it'd be reasonably quiet with 9mm subsonic.
Like the Erector 9. I bet you don't need a fixed spacer if you take off a couple baffles.
Well, I mean, the fixed spacer is just...
It's 8 ounces fully assembled.
Well, that's the fixed spacer, so that if you put it on a fixed barrel gun like an SMG, the silencer isn't going back and forth.
Oh, but what you're saying is you think it's light enough that you won't need a booster.
Oh, sorry, that's what I meant to say, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, there will be some number of baffles where it won't be necessary for a booster for it to be reliable. That's true. So if you want to shoot it with water or with grease or Vaseline or some artificial medium,
yeah,
it's going to be quiet and it'll cycle. I don't know. But the booster for ultimate reliability. Mm-hmm. And, again, for those in the cheap seats, you want to test it, shoot your pistol down the ground. Like, point the gun down and shoot it. That's how I generally gauge if something's relatively reliable, like the redneck test.
Yep. Very important.
Point it at the ground. Try it. So that's it. So for the Erector 9, we should have different threaded pistons. We should have the 3-lug, the fixed rear end cap. That's a good thing about engraving the blast baffle rather than the rear mount. We can change out all that stuff.
Yeah, people ask about that a lot, as well as, hey, when the Erector 9 comes out, can I put it on a PCC or can I put it on my fixed barrel, whatever? Because I know right now that the first few shipped with the booster, right?
Yeah, they're all with a half 28 piston and booster, and then shortly we'll have the metric piston fixed mount 3-lug.
I guess we need a fixed weapon spacer, which is just a spacer you replace a spring with.
We'll have the fixed mount, and then it'll make your silencer even lighter.
Knight's armament during the Mark 23 program, which is the big HK pistol, what it ended up being, but originally they were working with Colt. But they did a spring-loaded booster system that I essentially modeled hours after advanced armament, then did the coaxial area and the other stuff, timing it, making it easier to time because they had castle cuts in the top of their silencer. I mean, it was pretty complicated. So I simplified it some and made it easier. And it's kind of what everyone uses today. And, you know, there's little adjustments in that where you can make it quieter. You know, we used like flash hider style cuts, like phantom flash hider cuts in the piston, and it gave us some flash and sound reduction. You know, there's some little tricks. I mean, a small, compact, lightweight handgun silencer for 9mm, it's a trick. It's not easy.
I was on Silencer Shop's website just now, just looking around, and then I thought for 5.56, would you choose the NT4 or like the Surefire SOCOM, or what's your favorite 5.56 silencer?
M4 2000.
Which is a hard question because suppressed 5.56 is still very loud, but most people have a 5.56 rifle instead of a 300 blackout. So if you were to choose a 5.56,
not necessarily. I mean, the best silencer is the AAC SR5
that you can purchase.
I don't know if you can purchase it.
M4 2000.
I mean, probably the Knights can, whatever their current one is. The NT4, now, the NT4 gets a bad rap from all you young cloners that were born in 94.
I wasn't even born in 94. I was born in 95.
All right. So in 94, like the POI and accuracy requirement at 100 was like 3 or 4 inches. So Knights built the silencer to that requirement, and that thing's a tank. There's probably been more of those made than any other silencer in history of the world. And it uses a baffle kind of like this, called a crimp cone. And they originally made them from tubing. They would crimp it and then cut it and weld it up. They cast them now. The Knight silencer, I think, is awesome. Sound-wise, it's as good as anything. The mount sucks in the sense, just like Surefire, like don't let them blow smoke up your ass. Knights and Surefire, both in their manual. If the silencer is stuck on the mount, you disengage the latch.
And shoot it off.
And you fire around and you go pick it up downrange. Fuck that. And that's one place, the SR5 that we designed for that SOCOM contract was superior. I don't know, 556 silencer. I'd use what the fuck ever I've got.
I think the NT4 looks really cool, and I think it's an iconic look. I think the Surefire is also cool looking, but it is loud and it's heavy.
It's loud and it's weak. The Surefire silencer compared to the Night silencer is much weaker. They do spot welds. They don't do circumferential welding, so the silencers break very easily compared to the Night silencer. But the Night silencer is loose on the gun and it rattles, and so your accuracy and your point of impact shift isn't great.
Is the NT4 snap-on?
It's not it's a gate, but it's a
Right.
manual, and then you have a rotating latch that holds it
That's
down.
right.
So it's complicated. It's heavy. It weighs like 24 ounces or something. It's a heavy silencer, but you can put it on a Mark 46 or a 249, shoot full auto, and you ain't gonna do that with a Surefire. SOCOM can.
Full auto rated. Like all the people asking
Yeah,
us.
God, there is no full auto rating.
Yeah.
Knock it off. Don't say full auto rated.
Do you have full auto at home?
Do you, Kevin?
Yes.